Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We have an exciting video for you guys today as we do have two different early season snow potentials this upcoming week. Mainly in the Midwest and also the Rockies, but it's still exciting to see if you are a snow lover really anywhere just because of the sign of this really active pattern. It could benefit you guys on the East Coast, by the time maybe mid-November or late November rolls around if this active pattern continues. And we see deeper cold build in that would allow these low pressures to be a little bit more suppressed south and east. So, first of all, we'll take a look at the GFS, the Euro for these two different snow potentials, and we have our snowfall forecast maps. So that'll be coming later in the video, but for now, here is the breakdown for these events. So, starting off with the GFS, here's our early week event. So, as you can see, by the time Sunday night rolls around, Denver is going to be getting in on that moderate snow down to Colorado Springs. Low pressure develops in northern New Mexico. Now it kind of weakens as it heads into the Central Plains. And already, you can tell this is a really fast-moving system. We're expecting the parts of Kansas, Nebraska to see some light snow, perhaps. But bigger story could be eastern Iowa, perhaps far northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. These areas could do well with this this little storm. And by well, I mean maybe a few inches, but that's pretty well if you ask me for, before Halloween. It's still pretty substantial for this time of year. Now here's our bigger story. This is where things get a little bit more complicated just because as we get further out, of course the unpredictability raises. And also, models, they're pretty much going all over the place. So, for this late week storm, first of all, the Euro had a strong storm. GFS had a weaker storm. Euro had higher snowfall amounts. Now they've swapped. So now the Euro continues to weaken this system, and the GFS continues to strengthen the system. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this with a variety of systems all across the U.S., but once again, this is still 4 or 5 days out. So I'm not going to say, despite maybe the Euro being better than the GFS historically, I'm not going to say that one model is probably more likely to happen. But I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on this as we will, and we'll update you guys. So this is for the late week storm. So as you can see, some snow goes down the spine of the Rockies, and then this isn't, this is definitely the more exciting model for you guys in the Central Plains, as we do have some heavy snow breaking out in Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, northwestern Missouri, and then really heavy snow in eastern Iowa, and much of Wisconsin, and even northern Illinois. Look at Chicago. Look at that wraparound. Now, wraparound typically doesn't have the highest, rate of verification just because models like to do it, but in reality, precip is most of the time already gone by the time the cold air flows in. So, looking at the GFS Snowfall Map, starting off with this early week event, these totals are really underrun, by the way, in the Rockies. These areas will probably see, well, I'll not spoil it, but it'll probably be about 150% of what this is showing. And then, even in the Midwest, maybe 2 to 3 inches in these areas of Wisconsin and Iowa. Now, here comes a bigger storm. Sure, most of you probably wish this will happen. This happens. But, like I said, we're about to get into the, perhaps more duller Euro. So, anyways, 6 to 10 inches widespread in the Midwest on the GFS. Even Colorado, Denver again. I think that even if this low pressure doesn't go crazy in the plains and really, strengthen and give these areas in the Midwest 6-10 inches, I think even despite that, Denver's in really good shape to see probably a foot or more of snow this upcoming week. So it's really going to be an exciting week for those areas. Now let's look at the Euro, and you will see a slightly different story. Not so much with the early week storm, but with the late week. So, as you can see, some snow building south across the Rockies. We have some light snow in the Central Plains, but still exciting for this time of year. Still, still love to see it. And then, this is showing a little bit more heavy snow in eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin here on the Euro. By the time we roll into Tuesday morning, so a little bit higher amounts there. And then it will stick around, actually, just because you can see we do have a trough building in, so some relatively below average temperatures, as we covered last night, building into the Central Plains to start November. So, now this is what the Euro shows for the late week storm. And you're probably wondering, okay, and where is the storm? You know, it really doesn't make an appearance until the trough goes negatively tilted, which you can see by these you know, by these lines going more like this. It's pretty much a sign of negative tilt. We could look at a different, you know, parameter, but anyways, so that's just how we know. So you can see some wraparound, once again, not looking too likely just because it'll probably be gone, but wraparound does verify a little bit more in the Midwest, but this is a completely different scenario. Much of the plains really don't get in on, you know, moderate snow at all, even heavy snow, or moderate, you know, even moderate snow, definitely not heavy snow. And then areas that do are Wisconsin and northern Michigan, the UP of Michigan, and then into, you know, Ontario. So quite the difference between the Euro and the GFS. The Euro pretty much has, well, we'll look at these notes on the Euro, I guess. So here we go. Start off the week. You can see about the same amounts in the Rockies, still underdone, and then higher amounts in southern Wisconsin. This is 5 inches. That'd be quite impressive. So keep an eye on that, especially since these areas are a little bit more populated than the Rockies. And then the late week storm, yeah, you are not gonna see these amounts build too much in the Central Plains, just because of that extremely light snow that the Euro showed. And the only areas that do see a little bit more moderate snow is in Wisconsin and the northern areas of Michigan, as we talked about earlier. So GFS ensemble, why not we take a look at this? So it's pretty much a similar situation. Now this is closer to the Euro for the early week storm, especially in the Midwest with these higher amounts. Late week, it's not too excited about this storm, so unfortunately the GEFS, aka the GFS ensemble, perhaps is, you know, hinting at maybe the Euro could be right about this one. But I wouldn't worry too much. There's plenty of more snow to come this upcoming winter, so. But anyways, let's get into the forecast maps for these different storms now. So, Sunday to Tuesday AM. Many of you may be missing this event if you watch this video after it happens, but this is our below 1 inch to 2 inch area. Heading down the spine of the Rockies into the Central Plains and into the Midwest. Now, that's not the end of the story. 2 to 4 inches in all these darker blue areas, so you can see southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, and also much of Colorado. 4 to 6 inches in much of central Colorado, including Denver, higher elevations of Wisconsin. You know, depending on how intense this precip gets in Wisconsin will really depend on if these areas do see even 4 inches. Because if the precip gets heavier, that'll mean temperatures drop a little bit more. And, you know, some of these areas, if the Euro is right, could get 4 to 5 inches. So 6 to 10 inches, this would really be 6 to 10 inches plus, as most of the areas in this region, especially higher elevations above about 7,000 feet, will probably see over a foot. Even Denver will probably be on the upper end of that spectrum. So that's our snowfall forecast for the early week system. Now, late week system, well, this is really mid to late week, depending on where you are. So this is our large area of snow potential. Now, pretty much the closer to the center of this area you are, the further away from the edges, the better. Especially on the northern edge, we kind of moved to north just in case, you know, it wants to strengthen. And then pretty much just this is if the GFS is right. This is if the Euro is right. You know, the northern ends and the southern ends. But we are more confident on the Rockies, as previously stated. So, snow potential, this is even maybe an inch. We're not talking about big amounts with this area. Now, heading into the heavy snow potential, this is where we're looking at, you know, maybe 5 inches or more. Maybe this is more likely in the Rockies, the central Rockies here in Colorado. Much more uncertainty in Iowa and Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan, just because it's further away, you know, time-wise, and also there's big discrepancies between the GFS and the Euro. So we will have more updates in the coming days, definitely, on these two systems, and of course the second system, as even if it doesn't impact, you know, the Midwest with the biggest amounts, it'll still be exciting to see a large area of, you know, populated areas get impacted by these, you know, early season snow events. So that has been the video. If you are interested in this type of content, this type of weather content heading into the winter, be sure to subscribe for more weather updates. And also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you guys would put a like on this video as it would help grow the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned for more.